Joker, one of my most favorite comic book villains, is finally here after all this anticipation that has been built up with this movie, especially after hearing how there was a standing ovation for this film at the Venice Film Festival. Now, I know that we have seen Joker in movies before, RIP Heath Ledger. I thought it was just perfect at the role. But it's just awesome to see an R-rated Joker movie and kind of explore this dark side of DC that we really haven't seen yet. This movie tells the tale of an amateur stand-up comedian by the name of Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and his troubled upbringing where he is constantly bullied, called a pathetic clown, and feels rejected by society. Because of this, he is pushed towards violence and madness as he transforms into the Joker villain. So this movie is essentially a prequel where instead of it having the good and evil sides like in the Batman movies where Joker is present, this movie focuses more so on Arthur Fleck and how he transforms into the Joker. Now, there are some little Easter eggs here, like pointing towards, Batman. I don't want to say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil anything major. But those elements of the movie were really surprising and I really enjoyed seeing that connection. Now, this movie is stunning in so many different ways. I think Joaquin Phoenix performed the role just absolutely perfectly, and his laugh was just so mesmerizing and crazy, like just how it should be. This movie just feels so carefully articulated. The cinematography was gorgeous. Every shot felt like it had a purpose, and the music and sounds really enriched every scene. I was already going into this movie with high expectations, after hearing about what happened at the Venice Film Festival, which is really bad because I don't want to go into a film with very high expectations and to be let down. But this movie went exactly the way I thought it would be. It actually was a masterpiece. In fact, some scenes just wowed me and utterly stunned me because there were so many twists and turns in this movie. The more I look at this movie, the more I realize how carefully crafted it is and how many really astonishingly small details there are that I'm still thinking about after the movie. I feel like this movie is something special and is legit a movie that a whole class could analyze in English literature. I can really, after watching this movie, I can really understand why people at the Venice Film Festival stood up and started clapping after the movie ended. In fact, I almost did the same. The thing I love about this movie, besides the performances and the directing, was how realistic it is. Seeing Arthur Fleck getting beat up, seeing his troubled upbringing, what he has to go through, what he went through, you can see why he does what he does. It is a very deep movie. It almost makes you kind of take his side and understand him, which is odd, taking sides with the villain. But no, this movie actually makes you kind of care for this character. This is definitely a really in-depth kind of prequel to this character. It is a very slow-paced kind of character movie for the most part, and it's very different than your average superhero or supervillain film in the fact that it is really dark. In fact, I probably wouldn't even classify this as a superhero or supervillain film. It's more like a drama or a thriller. Now, I'm more used to Heath Ledger's Joker from the Dark Knight trilogy, so initially going into this movie, I expected there to be a lot more action than there was. But I'm completely fine that it was more of a character movie. Like I said, I love the fact that it was an R-rated movie. It allowed the film to kind of explore a lot more themes and ideas. And it wasn't just violence for the sake of violence. In fact, I thought that the movie would actually be a lot more darker and graphic than it was. See, Venom wasn't R-rated, and it opted for the PG-13 route just so it could potentially star Spider-Man in a future sequel. but I feel like that's the reason why that movie flopped. I think if it was R-rated, it definitely would have done a lot better, but you know, this is kind of going off topic. I feel like this Joker movie is very special and very unique in its own way. I can definitely see this movie being movie of the year, or one of the best movies this year. And I can also see a lot of people who don't like this movie. But to be honest, what am I saying? I mean, if you don't like this movie, then this movie is not for you. So that's it, I'm saying it. This movie is near perfect. You know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and give Joker an A+. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have you seen the new Joker movie? What did you think about it? Please leave a comment on your thoughts below. Like the video if you liked it, and drop a sub to help the channel out. Also, feel free to check out my previous video. Until next time.